All right, guys and gals. Woo-hoo! It's the weekend, baby! Yeah! Woo! This is DJ Wolf Live. Got a couple things on my mind here. I'm gonna start off by talking about this first. I'm actually going to go see uh, the third installment of the wildly popular Deadpool series. This is the Deadpool and Wolverine, among two of my favorite Marvel characters of the last 15, 20 years. But beyond fan of Wolverine for decades. Um, hence DJ Wolf. But anyway, I even did a picture of my actual face on top of Wolverine's head. But Wolverine was dressed as a civilian with the things out. She said, "Well, it'd be good. I put a mask on you." They did it. I think it was either Baltimore or I think yeah, I mean, not Ocean City. But anyway, so I have a self portrait of that in my room. Anyway, I'm a big fan of both characters. I love the films. This one is supposed to be off the chain. They say it's crazier than ever, and I'm here for it. I'm gonna tell you right up front, and I'm going to give you guys and gals a full review as soon as I after I see the movie. But we got a couple of things on my mind here, uh, and I'm trying to figure out why this is so weird. Now there was a post that said a couple of posts where the FBI, I guess, director had talked about regarding the Trump attempted assassination, where he said that it may not been exactly he might not have been exactly hit by a bullet. Then they turned around and confirmed, said yeah, he was hit by a bullet. I'm like, you guys need to make up your mind. But nevertheless, I'm gonna say this right up front. Since I did my post about the original attempted assassination a couple of weeks ago, I'm more inclined to say that this is more of an inside job and a setup. And the reason why I say that is because it feels like there's more holes in the story. I don't know why it does that. It seems like there's more holes in the story, gentlemen, than Swiss cheese. I'm not kidding. It really does feel like that. And the reason why I say it is because you had a 20-year-old, and I just found this out recently. You had a 20-year-old who came in there. He brought shotguns, okay, or well, automatic assault rifle. He brought a drone in there. He had explosives in his car. I'm just trying to figure out all that stuff. And he was dressed in fatigues. And none of them saw the guy get on the roof. They didn't see him get on the roof. They didn't see him on the roof. They start shooting. I'm like, what is going on? I say, it just seemed like there's more holes in the story than Swiss cheese. And like somebody was saying, how could a 20-year-old be able to outsmart the Secret Service? I'm not saying that they're not a fine, upstanding organization. I worked in the I worked in the military myself at one time, but they're not a military unit per se. But I just found a lot of it strange, man. And you on top of the Secret Service, you had the local police, and state troopers. Okay, and I went by because I saw a SWAT team there, and I'm like, all that police law enforcement that was there, and nobody could figure it out. It just seemed too easy. It just seemed too, what I'm saying? It just seemed too simple for no one not to be able to figure out what was going on before it happened. That's why I say it's both an inside job and a setup. I still say that. I'm not defending Trump. I'm not wishing any bad ill will towards Trump, but I do. It is a concern because if that can happen, if Trump can be in danger like that, just hope it's not like that with anybody else. I'll leave it at that. And that's why I really question it because it's more holes to the story than anything else. And it's not like, even though Trump to me is not my favorite candidate, but he's a well-known candidate. He's a well-known public figure. You know, and a former president. On top of that, that's why I'm trying to think why they were so lax. It just none of it seemed. It just don't seem right. And then the person who took that picture was obviously pretty damn close to Trump. Now there was a video. It's out there on YouTube. It may not be now, but it was of a woman who probably was within a few inches of Trump, sitting on the bleachers on the left side of her. For us, if we look at the video, it's to the right of us. She had a sign, an anti-Biden sign. Soon as the shooting happened, she put the sign down. She picked up the camera and took the picture. And I think that's the picture where it showed Trump uh, with his head slightly down, with the blood dripping off his ear. That was too inconvenient to me. It really was. Number one, what's going on here? It was very inconvenient. I thought it was very inconvenient and very strange. What are they doing? It was just weird. It was just a weird scene. You know how to drive around and want somebody? Wow. Well, you get your driver's license revoked. Just drive around. It ain't gonna take but about a hot second. But anyway, it's just a weird scene to me. I just something about it don't feel right at all. I swear it really don't. It really don't. It just feels odd to me. Why they do this? It was just really odd. It was just really odd, you know. And then on top of that, he's sitting up there, didn't even have his head down for the most part. They try to struggle to put his head down, and he's at one point stood up and raised his fist in the air, not even knowing if there was more than one shooter. Usually in a situation like that, you're supposed to have your head down the entire time because you don't know who else is coming by to try to finish the damage. You know what I mean? That's why it felt. Oh, no, ignore that. That's why the whole situation with that felt so weird to me, man. To this day, it do. Honest to God, I was like, what was that? And that's why it don't feel real to me. It don't. Because usually in a shooting situation, you're supposed to be covered. They're supposed to make sure you're covered, you know? And then one point, he forgot his shoes. Somebody tried to say he was a shock. Oh, that's not a shock. The shock is you were being shot at. That's the reality. At least that's the reality that we've been told. So, yes, you question everything when it comes to that, especially that. It was just a weird scene to me, you know? And it's just weird. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. And I'll never understand that. You know, because even in the Kennedy assassination, they made sure. I mean, even though he eventually died, unfortunately, uh, they tried to make sure that they had everybody, or at least they tried to. You know, and I don't know. It's just weird. But they tried to get away as fast as they could. You know, and you still had somebody shoot. And there's questions about that to this day. The Oswald wasn't the only shooter there, because I heard a different round it sounded like it came from a distant location. I remember that. Like I saw a Subaru film like about a dozen times or so over the years, you know. But nevertheless, it's just a lot of stuff within that just don't add up, man. I'm telling you, it don't add up at all. Oh damn, it really don't. It just nothing about it adds up. Period. In the discussion, you know. So I don't know, folks. I just find it weird. Now Kamala Harris, I'm not a fan of hers either, but I give her credit. I think it was kind of genius for them to go ahead and get her out here in terms of going ahead uh, and making her everybody giving support and blessing to her being the nominee for president. DNC is fully behind it now. Obama kind of mulled over it for a few days, as you can tell. It took a minute for him to make up his mind, and understandably so. That's a big decision. And I'm gonna still say this: as much as I don't like Kamala Harris, on some level she is qualified. But what y'all folks doing out here, man? Man. Blue on blue. Anyway, it's just something about it just don't seem right to me on that. But to make a long story short, I will say she was really the only choice for a moment. But there are other. I personally think there are other qualified candidates other than Kamala Harris to run for president. I'll say that. You know, I have personal reasons for that. Why I'm saying it. You know, but I'm just not a fan of hers. I mean, no offense. But I give her credit for one thing. This woman raised a ton of money to run against Trump, and Trump is slightly threatened by it. There's no doubt he is. And then I was reading a couple of stories where they said that a lot of people in Trump's camp, and I'm talking about his base, not necessarily the people in his camp, but people, a lot of Trump supporters in general are not too crazy about his pick for vice president. There's some of them don't even like the guy Vance. Because of some things that he has said. They say he showed up poor in the polls. That kind of don't surprise me, but I guess they don't jump on everything he said. There are people starting to realize there are cracks in Trump's story now and storyline. It is no doubt about that. Uh, Trump is not is now about 78 years old. He is currently the oldest candidate running for president right now. And about another 4 years, if he actually does win for re-election, he'll be too old. Well, he gonna be too old to run it after that anyway. But he won't get a third term after that anyway because it's a two-term limit for all presidents. You know, but he wants to change those laws anyway. That's another story. But what I am going to do, I'm going to look into that 2025 rule. I'm going to look into that because I've been hearing a lot of talk about that. But one of the things that shook me about the 2025 rule is that they were talking about getting rid of education. That's a concern for me. You would actually get rid of education. We're talking about the Department of Education. That's a concern. That's just for starters. And I was shook by that because there's nothing you need more than education right now, man. Like, oh, I'm stuck on the way back. And I think for education, you need it. Education is what motivates people to get better job skills, you know, be inclined to learn about things and people and cultures and places and stuff like that. It's very important, very important. And I'm actually very surprised that the one thing that they were talking about getting rid of is education. I'm not down with that at all. I'm really, really, really not. That's a problem. That's a major problem. Matter of fact, yeah, it is. It truly is. Well, anyway, I'm gonna cut it short because I'm getting ready. I'm about halfway to the theater right now. I gotta go see this movie. I'm gonna give you a review. I'm a big fan of both actors in this film, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman. Uh, Watched their films as superhero titans. These movies for years. I'm a huge Marvel fan. Been a huge Marvel fan since 1972 at least. So I've been a long time Marvel fan. I started out reading DC comics, and when I got a little older, uh, uh, I was in the Marvel. But actually, I take that back. Been in the Marvel longer than DC because I've been around a long time. So I barely remember when the Superman series came out, but I remember very well when the Spider-Man series came out. The one thing about Spider-Man that is enduring is the fact that Spider-Man started out as a teenager himself, and I want to talk about that briefly before I get off here. It's actually Spider-Man was the character that really changed the face of Marvel Comics as we know it in the mid 1960s. But when that cartoon series hit in 1967, man, ooh, you ain't said nothing but a word. That cartoon would hit the ground running, and I was there for it. I was about 3 years. I turned 3 that year, 1967, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that to me was when I was getting in the cartoons. To be honest, Because I remember that if there was ever a show that they said, what was the show that you remember when you were very young? The first real, as far as the animated series. And I had to tell you, for me, it absolutely was Spider-Man. There was no question about it. I remember that like when it premiered. I remember it like it was yesterday. My folks was more than happy to turn on TV when that came on Saturday mornings. Like, what, 9:30, 10 o'clock? Anyway, but I remember it very well. And I was excited. I was pumped. I ain't gonna lie. I was pumped like nobody's business, man. Real talk I was. And but that actually did change the face of I think it actually changed in some regards, changing the face of animated television, but it definitely, especially comic book, based on comic book series. Yeah. But a lot of kids grew up liking it. Generations of kids, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Identify with just like thrones of kids identify with Michael Jackson, the same way. You know. But uh, I haven't even watched the last. I think the last one or two Spider-Man movies that came out. I didn't even see it. They Far Away from Home. I've yet to see that. I actually missed a few of the Marvel films. Two or three movies came out. I didn't see it. I didn't see the movie. I saw the portion of the first one, but I didn't see the second or third. I didn't see none of the with Galaxy series. I ain't seen none of those. Um, I'm gonna try to get back on my comic book stuff because I'm a big comic book fan, especially a fan of comic book films. So this is exciting. So me and my son decided to make a boys' day out of it for a little while, and then, you know, go from there. But I am going to do a couple of podcasts this week coming up. I'll keep you guys informed on that. But as far as Kamala Harris, like I said, they say she shows strong in the polls, so that's going to be interesting to see. Um, I mean, a lot stronger than Biden, a lot stronger than. I mean, she shows just as strong as any other candidate right now. But I'm starting to think that some of this had to be planned. Like somebody was saying, it was a video that came out this morning. I mean, that I saw this morning, out for a few days, and the guy basically said, in his opinion, was this was already in the works. You know, the plan wasn't really was just to put Biden in there, just long to make sure Kamala Harris get in there. And Kamala Harris, I ain't gonna lie, much as I'm not a fan of her, she has a great chance of winning. Trump knows it too. A rumor has it that he doesn't want to debate it right now. I think they had the debate scheduled, and I guess he pulled out. Interesting, very interesting. He talk a lot of crap about it though, but he do know that she was a former prosecutor, and he just was indicted on 34 counts of bribery. So, all right, guys. Well, that's all I got for right now. I'm actually going to try and look into the 2025 plan because that's the one reason I think I would. One or two reasons why I think I would vote Democrat at this point. The other reason would be all systems go if she get a viable vice president candidate. I mean, viable. I mean, the third option is if there's anything that shows that he's really down with it, that 2025 plan. From what I read, we got to vote him out. We can't. We have to definitely vote to make sure that he does not get a second term if he's really down with it. But who knows, man. All right, guys. That's all I got. It's DJ Wolf. I'm out.